The war in Ukraine isn't going so well for Russia, but they're confident America will jump in and leave billions of dollars worth of equipment behind.
Twitter is full of communists, and they don't seem to care who knows it.
There were 2 mass shootings last weekend, but if you watch the corporate media, there was only 1 mass shooting last weekend.
We talked to Officer Tatum. Apparently black people can be police officers.
Americans can't find baby formula in stores due to a nationwide shortage, so naturally, Joe Biden sent pallets of formula to the border for illegal immigrants.
Nina Jankowicz resigned as the head of the Disinformation Board, which is a boom for the local community theater industry.
All this and more on
The Bee Weekly.
Hey friends, Kyle here, coming to you from my secret survival bunker. The global food supply chain is getting weaker and weaker every day. Are you prepared for when grocery stores run out of food? It's getting scary, folks, so don't wait another minute. Get yourself some emergency food so you can get through the difficult times ahead. Take a moment to visit the website, preparewithbee.com. That's B-E-E. You'll find a special offer from My Patriot Supply where you can save $150 on their 3-month emergency food kit. My Patriot Supply is the nation's most trusted preparedness company with over 50,000 4- and 5-star reviews. Their 3-month emergency food kit gives you delicious meals, drinks, and snacks that provide over 2,000 calories a day. You won't go hungry when you have this food. Be sure to get at least 1 kit for each member of your family. Your order will arrive quickly in unmarked boxes for your privacy, and you get free shipping too. You might not get another warning. Go to preparewithbee.com right now. That's preparewithbee.com.
Welcome to the Bee Weekly podcast, everybody. I'm here with Jarrett over here, and we have an awesome guest today from PragerU. He does their Man on the Street videos. We've got Will Witt here.
Thank you for
You have
having me.
700 million views.
Yeah, 700 million, something like that. You lose count at 650 million.
You stopped counting at that
stopped
point?
counting.
Was
yeah.
that your goal, 650 million, and then you were like, I did it?
Then I was like, I've done it. I
Yeah.
called my mom and said, Mom,
Yeah.
I did
Mom.
it. Our lifelong dream.
Are you quitting now? Is that
Who knows?
Okay,
I
that's
reached
good,
the goal and not much left to do now.
Which of your videos is like the most popular one? Is there one that's like just really taken off?
Yeah, the most popular videos that I've done is definitely the one where I dressed up as a Mexican and went to UCLA.
Oh, okay.
And asked if they thought that was cultural appropriation.
Right.
And of course, all the white students thought it was so racist and terrible, except for...
And the Mexican students love it?
Well,
Yeah.
the Mexicans, I bought the outfit from Mexicans on Olvera Street in Los
Right.
Angeles.
Oh, okay.
And so, then I asked all the Mexicans what they thought, and they loved it, of course.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
celebrating with me. It was a video that was irrefutable evidence that the left is wrong about cultural appropriation. And it was very funny. So that was my most popular, and then also that the one we were talking about with the kid on campus who called the cops on me for
really?
threatening him with my ideals.
That's right. Have you
And
not seen it? It's a wonderful video.
Yeah, he called the police on me.
Yeah, and the police were so cool because they came in and they were like, so what is it he's doing exactly? I'm trying to figure out what he's doing that's making you feel like he's threatening you. Mm-hmm. And they totally were fans.
Was it an assault ideal?
Basically, yeah. Fully automatic assault ideal. Yeah.
Cool. Lots is going on in the news this week, Jarrett. You want to start us off?
Yeah. So James O'Keefe's project Veritas released an uncovered video of 2 senior engineers, the senior engineer and a lead client partner of Twitter, who confirmed that Twitter's woke, commie, and not on the right side of free speech, and that they are biased toward the left and their policies and decisions. And they rant about Elon Musk and the Twitter takeover. Did you guys see that? Did anyone see that?
I saw the headline. I haven't watched the video myself, but it's good. That they're. It's funny to me that they have to expose to some people that they're biased in favor of the left. Because was it Nina Jankowicz or somebody was saying like that social media is censoring people, but it hurts the left.
The left.
They're insane.
Yeah, she was thinking that it's like biased towards the right.
Yeah,
I hear people say that.
I don't know
on campus.
I don't know
they'll
what
be like,
reality they're living in.
They're like, oh, conservatives are running the world. Conservatives have all this power in
Yeah.
these institutions. And it's like, have you ever been on social media or seen the people who have been banned off of social media?
Right.
It's crazy.
You want to tell me that?
Have you been to universities lately?
Occasionally.
Have you watched a Hollywood movie ever?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were asking me that.
Yeah.
That's a hypothetical.
Have you been? Have you been?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. I mean, but it's pretty obvious, all of these kind of things. I mean, saying that Twitter is leftist and woke and commie and all these things. I mean, it's like saying, oh, exposed, Will Witt is a conservative. I mean, it's basically the same thing.
Like the Babylon Bee is still not on Twitter for saying Rachel Levine was Man of the Year, and USA Today is still on Twitter for saying Rachel Levine is Woman of the Year. So it's very clear which side they're supporting.
That's a side of lies, basically.
Right.
And one of our favorite targets here, Jen Psaki, is out. But we have a new black LGBT press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, is in. Her first week was spent trying to give a non-answer, explaining why Joe Biden's plan to raise taxes on the rich will help ease inflation.
That's right. I think she fits right in.
Yeah.
Because she's totally incoherent. You know, you've got Kamala, you've got Biden, now you've got Pierre. What's her name? How do you say it? Jean-Pierre?
Jean-Pierre.
Jean-Pierre. He's very... Anyway, but yeah, she fits right in, man.
Yeah, you have a lot of people with absolutely zero talent who get the positions that they have because of their intersectionality. And you have this administration that treats everything like a joke. I mean, you had Biden, what was it, yesterday tweeting about the LGBT binary day or something like that, about lawsuits for like protecting these types of people. And it's like, you just gave $40 billion to Ukraine and we are in massive debt in this country and people can't afford gas and all these things. And you're tweeting about this. I see you really have your priorities in order.
That's right.
You're talentless hacks, all of these people.
And I'd like for them to show me where's the evidence that all this oppression's happening.
Yeah.
You know? And like as we approach Pride Month, like the entire month that they still where's the evidence? Like where's
there is no evidence.
Yeah, there's no evidence this is going on.
Oh, if there was evidence, they'd give you specific examples all the time and come back to them. It's like with the race stuff.
Yeah.
They'll always come back to specific
Well, a lot of that
examples,
discrimination, I mean, the Jussie Smollett thing was like the sort of one that blew up the biggest in the media when it turned out to be a hoax. But the way they've always proven that stuff is they sensationalize these like reported hate crimes. And then when the like facts of it come out and it turns out like, oh, it was a dispute in a bar, or oh, it was a fake, or oh, then they just kind of quietly brush it aside. But then in your memory, they say, oh, there was all these instances of you know, LGBT people being attacked. But like almost all of them that get sensationalized in the news turn out to be fake or exaggerated.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
like
one
red
of the girls in New York. There were two black girls, and they came and said, oh, there was this hate crime against us, ended up being fake. There was the girl with the hijab who said there was this hate crime in the bathroom against her, ended up being fake. It's like there's more. I assume by default that if I hear something about someone being discriminated against in the news, that it's fake.
I'm always skeptical of it at first. I'm always like, let me get all the facts and let's see what was actually verified.
So I have a tendency to think anything that they're pushing is probably suspect.
Yeah.
Like if they're like pushing a narrative and they're really trying to nail it home, bring it home, most likely it's going to be false narrative. Like, so you probably need to believe the opposite of what they're trying to say.
I also like with Karine Jean-Pierre's answer here, she's trying to explain that Joe Biden's plan to raise taxes on the rich will help ease inflation.
Yeah.
They keep trying to deny that anything other than printing more money constantly is the reason there's inflation. And all these stimulus. They're trying to come up with any other reason to explain both the prices going up and what's causing or what will help inflation other than their own policies that they push.
Well, that's like,
years.
and I love that video because Ducey is he's so great. He keeps trying to nail. He's like, please answer the question. He's like, you know, how is this connected? How is this connected? I like Ducey.
I do too.
He's a really cool guy.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how screwed our country is and our economy is. I don't think people have any idea. And it's like if you would just come out and admit, like, hey, all right, we screwed up.
Yeah.
Like things kind of suck right now. We understand. We want to try and fix it. Like that, I can even get behind that. But to have no level of any sort of humility to say that we did something wrong and have no plan to fix it, essentially just to say it's because gay people are hated on.
Yeah.
Like that's your excuse essentially for inflation. Like the economics of the 1970s, which was terrible, is a dream come true for what America could be right now. I mean, we are in dire straits.
If only Jimmy Carter were not.
If only we had Jimmy. Yeah, bring him back. He'd be better than what we have now.
Well, he was a nicer guy at least. You know? All right, so war in Ukraine isn't going so well for Russia, though they did finally take Mariupol. Is that how you say it, Mariupol?
I think so.
A former Russian colonel has come out to criticize the invasion on Russian state television, which is a really big deal. And are they preparing their people for a wind down to the war? Also, Finland and Sweden are applying for NATO right now, which is also a big deal. And Republicans like Dan Crenshaw voted to give. Oh yeah, this is interesting because Dan Crenshaw actually voted for this for the $40 billion thing. I just think that's a trip too.
Yeah.
I was like, what's up with Crenshaw these days?
Oh, he's not a conservative. He's not a real conservative.
He's a neocon.
That's what you'd call him. Exactly. A rhino.
A rhino.
Yeah. I mean, many of these, a lot of Republicans also went and voted for it. Now, it's not just Dan Crenshaw.
Is this weird? Is he part of the World Economic Forum too as well?
He's one of their young members essentially. Yeah, tied to him.
Is this? I wonder if that's a coincidence or not.
I don't think it's a coincidence whatsoever.
I don't know. I'm not going to throw anything out there. I'm not going to start any rumors.
I mean, $40 billion is the budget of some states in this country, yearly budget. And you're giving it to a foreign country in a matter of about 5 months, the money's going to be spent.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable. People are starving and things are going so terribly here, and this is what you're prioritizing. It's really sad.
It is sad.
Here's another one of Biden's priorities. Americans can't find baby formula because the government shut down the main plant for it in America 3 months ago. And instead, they're sending pallets of formula to the border for illegal immigrants. So,
yeah. The baby formula problem.
They're prioritizing the people trying to come into the country illegally over the shortage here.
But luckily, all the pregnant men are going to be donating chest fluid.
That's true.
Yes, can't wait to get some sips of that.
Yeah.
Chest fluid.
Yeah, I might even take some for myself.
Chest excretion.
Yeah, tasty. Soy milk. Yeah.
Gross.
There is a silver lining is that people are understanding that the baby formula we have in America is really terrible. Like filled with sugar.
Oh, I like
and
it. It's
corn
delicious.
Right. Well, I mean, for adults, it's better. Yeah.
Drink it all the time.
I drink it all the time.
Heat it up and go to
in a bottle.
Bed,
While I'm working out.
The rubber nipple.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part.
Yeah, mix some pre-workout in there. And you're good to go. But they're realizing the stuff that they're importing from Europe, it doesn't have any of the nasty stuff that Americans put in theirs.
Really?
Yeah. It's like a huge deal. People are starting to wake up to the health risks, actually.
This is
stuff
good.
See,
they're
the other
feeding
thing,
your children.
Europeans, they probably feed their babies better formula than we feed them here, but then they also let them start smoking and drinking coffee when they're 3.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly. Yeah. Just a wine with baby formula.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's right. There was a European student that came over and lived to my next door neighbor. She was probably 15, and she smoked. She went outside every day. My next door neighbor.
Yeah.
She would go outside and smoke a cigarette and go back inside. It was 15 years old. It was impressive.
Yeah.
It's impressive. Yeah. That is so funny.
How
All
do you
right. So
afford
one more thing. There's 2 mass shootings this past weekend, which is really, really sad. One fit a narrative where the shooter left a racist manifesto before killing people in Buffalo. He's a white supremacist in a New York supermarket. And the other, in a SoCal church, didn't fit the narrative, so the media stopped talking about that one. So there's a crazy Chinese guy shot up some Taiwanese people because he was mad at the Taiwanese. But it didn't stop Eric Swalwell from tweeting this about it. Eric Swalwell, the jerk, said, "Sorry, House GOP, that the parishioners hog-tied your boy."
Oh, so I didn't even see this tweet. So he was blaming the Chinese on Taiwanese hate crime one on the GOP.
On the GOP.
And Swalwell was the one who was dating Fang Fang, right?
Fang Fang, who was the...
had sex with a Chinese spy.
Yeah.
Chinese spy.
Yeah.
That's right.
And he farted on TV.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah.
He's not the best track record.
And he had one of his, when he was running very briefly, he had his campaign rally in Starbucks, and there was him and 4 people there. Do you ever see that picture?
No.
It's one of his campaign rallies, and it's him in a Starbucks with 4 people.
How does this guy win an election? I don't understand.
Swalwell.
Yeah.
So in the China video we just did, we don't talk about China. He's one of the characters.
Which is a fantastic video. You should check
it's a
it out
very,
if you
very
haven't
cool
seen it.
video. Yes.
Yeah, Brandon did great lyrics for that one.
Brandon, amazing. On some.
Yeah. Clarence Thomas had a sick burn this week. He told the media that he would quit his job when he does it as poorly as they do theirs.
Ooh, that's really good.
That one, yeah.
He got it.
He's the best.
He's very cool. Also, Nina Jankowicz just resigned. I think we talked about it before from the Disinformation Board.
It's great.
So
you guys told me that when I worked and I hadn't heard that. And you said the Disinformation Board is on hold right now, which hopefully that means that's good news if it goes away completely.
Yeah, let's hope.
The old Ministry of Truth.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to say that, it's on hold right now, but who knows what's going on behind the scenes, that they're just doing the things and then telling you that it's on hold.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the government does.
But they're the disinformation board. I'm sure they would be honest.
Yeah.
The disinformation providers.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. All right, we have a banger of the week this week.
Banger of the week.
This was our most popular headline. Mattel unveils new pregnant Ken doll. There's been a trend of Mattel releasing Barbie dolls that are more inclusive, like Barbie in wheelchair, Barbie with hearing aid, Ken dolls that are more non-binary. Mm-hmm. And so we made the pregnant Ken doll.
I can't wait to get my hands on that.
Yeah. All the little pregnant boys will be so excited.
Oh, exactly.
They have representation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Finally.
All the little
Yeah,
boys
finally.
who dream of growing up to be a mommy.
Those 5 kids.
Well, they should put Ken in a wheelchair, too.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know? Black, pregnant Ken, transgender.
Transgender with blue hair.
Right.
So here's our bomb of the week.
Bomb of the week.
Lobbyists concerned over rising cost of politicians. With inflation, the price of everything's going nuts. Gasoline, groceries, politicians. It's the worst.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of like that one. I think that's
I
really
thought
funny.
that- I like that one a lot,
Oftentimes,
actually.
I think our bomb of the week is pretty good. Not
I
every
agree.
time, but yeah.
Well, they're
Totally
like
agree.
the upper echelon. Like, you have to be this intelligent to get
You
it.
have to,
you know?
have to understand.
Not everyone can.
Yeah. You can't just be, oh, pregnant Ken doll.
Yeah.
Are you making fun of our
You're making fun of your own brand.
I love turning on the audience.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I love that headline.
And now it's time for one of our most popular segments, Sizzler Facts. 6 weeks ago, we debuted a new feature to the podcast called Sizzler Facts, and it was met with overwhelmingly positive feedback. We've got a lot of fans. Here's this week's interesting Sizzler Fact. In July of 2000, hundreds of people became ill during an E. coli outbreak associated with Sizzler restaurants in Wisconsin. 64 cases were confirmed by lab testing for E. coli, while public health officials counted 551 probable E. coli cases and another 122 possible cases. Dozens of E. coli outbreak victims were hospitalized. 4 developed hemolytic uremic syndrome, and 1 child died.
I hate that.
Eat at Sizzler. That was our most depressing Sizzler fact yet.
Yeah, it gives
Yeah,
you a lot of
wow.
choices.
Usually our Sizzler facts build Sizzler up.
Yeah.
That
Well, I
one-
was like,
that
I haven't
one
been
tore
here
them
before. I've
down
never
a
been to
little bit.
Sizzler. And then you show this fact. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, now
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to
And I
it.
have to give a quick shout out on the weekly news 2 weeks ago. I did a joke about Longhorn Steakhouse, and then I said, just sort of off the cuff, I said that was this week's Longhorn Steakhouse fact. And then I was doing stand up in Oklahoma City this week, and a fan named Ben and his wife handed me this on stage during my performance. So I got Longhorn Steakhouse facts with Adam Yenser. No
That's
E.
good.
coli here.
No, never had it.
Not yet.
Not yet. Well, at least you
Exactly.
get choices as to which kind of disease you would like at
Yeah.
Sizzler as well.
Right.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of choices. It's E. coli,
No. Sizzler's-
hemolytic uremic syndrome,
Yeah.
No,
HUS.
Sizzler's
Yeah,
a
no, it's a
wonderful
buffet.
restaurant. They've
I love the variety.
Yeah.
That's good variety.
Yeah.
All right,
Golden Corral.
so next we have B Radio from Austin Robertson.
Treasure in heaven is great, but it's not going to buy you a tank of gas. So let's take a moment to briefly review the current state of our economy and the global effect the war between Russia and Ukraine has had. We're in for a tough year here, and Biden's printing and spending could be catastrophic for the US dollar and the market. That's why a growing number of financial analysts are recommending you diversify with gold and silver now. And the only company we recommend is Allegiance Gold. Our friends at Allegiance Gold can help you protect your IRA or 401k with physical gold and silver and have it delivered securely right to your door. The team at Allegiance Gold takes the time to educate their clients on the importance of having a financial portfolio that's diversified with gold and silver. Allegiance Gold has been one of the top precious metals firms in the nation for their commitment to protecting your hard-earned savings. They have an A+ from the Better Business Bureau, a 5-star rating with TrustLink, and they're AAA rated with the Business Consumer Alliance. If you act now by calling them and you mention Babylon Bee, they'll even give you $500 of free silver on a qualified purchase. Call 844-790-9191 to get this exclusive offer. Or you can visit allegiancegold.com/B. That's B-E-E. Call 844-790-9191. That's 844-790-9191. Or visit allegiancegold.com/B. BEE.
Factually inaccurate. Morally correct. This is Babylon Bee Radio. Our top story. In what many are calling a long overdue act of democracy, justice, and equity, Sports Illustrated has honored Stacey Abrams as this year's swimsuit edition cover model. Amid cheers for Abrams finally being recognized as a beautiful, powerful governor, several members of the press fainted when the black felt curtain was drawn back to reveal the cover depicting the bombshell Democrat supermodel. The Washington Post saved money by cribbing their 2020 article, The Power of Stacey Abrams, stating, "Pandemonium ensues as she walks like a runway supermodel, stops on a dime, poses, tilts her head slightly and smiles. Abrams is summoning her inner actress, and she is both enjoying the moment and getting through it to get to the conversation." Sources confirmed that more of the article couldn't be quoted as it was causing too many readers to become flushed and out of breath. Reporters from Fox News claim that Abrams lost the 2018 Georgia governor's election and is not, in fact, a beautiful governor, but they've had their press passes revoked for spreading hurtful disinformation. As the baby formula crisis continues to grow, more families have opted for an alternative formula source, utilizing whey protein instead. Professional bodybuilder and baby formula chemist Dr. Hank Bolkums.
We urge everyone unable to find baby formula right now to switch to whey protein powder. This will provide your child with all the necessary vitamins and nutrients while also giving them sick gains. What babies need right now is a delicious combination of cookies and cream flavor combined with whey isolate protein powder.
Many parents have reported that since they've switched to whey powder formula, their children have seen tremendous results, now shaking kettlebells instead of rattles and doing ab-toning crunches in their crib. Other parents have expressed concerns that their babies are liking the protein powder formula a little too much, cutting the sleeves off all their jammies and crying when taken away from the mirror they were flexing in front of. Updating the press on the baby formula shortage that's affecting millions of American families, Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, black gay immigrant, stated that all blame for the shortage rested squarely on the curly locks of the giant baby from Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. Jean-Pierre, black gay immigrant, said the crisis had nothing to do with Biden's list of perfect policies, but occurred because a baby grew to the size of a skyscraper after Pete Buttigieg's experimental chest milk-o-matic machine malfunctioned, firing a stray and biggening gamma beam into the child's bedroom. Using a trap designed to look like a giant cupboard filled with pots and pans, the U.S. military hoped to catch the child and shrink him back to normal with the help of legendary scientist Rick Moranis. Wow. Plans for the cupboard trap failed, however, as the four branches of the military were unable to memorize one another's pronouns, throwing the project into gridlock. The giant toddler was last seen barreling toward the U.S.-Mexico border where there's plenty of baby formula. And just a reminder, the new White House press secretary is a black gay immigrant. A recent study has audited Joe Biden's Twitter followers to determine how many are actually bots. The results have left the world stunned, as everyone discovered half of his followers are somehow real people. For Biden's most diehard supporters, this revelation has caused them to question the claim that he actually is the most popular president of all time. Many found themselves wondering how it's possible for a man to get 81 million votes if only 11 people follow him on Twitter. The auditors have since discovered that they accidentally reviewed Biden's legitimate votes for the 2020 election instead. A disturbing report from the DOJ has revealed that up to 50,000 wives go missing each year in Cracker Barrel's country store, never to be seen again. Investigators are not sure what causes it, whether it's the scented country candles, the rustic country knickknacks, or the sweet old lady country clothes, but they say the Cracker Barrel country store is like the Bermuda Triangle, like a black hole for wives. Men like Biff Bluggins are coming forward with tragic stories of how they've been affected.
I just wanted some country fried steak, but she just had to look around. She said, "Eee, look at the cute sun hats." And then she disappeared around a corner and I never saw her again. Curse you, Cracker Barrel!
Authorities are encouraging men to keep their wives away from the store at all costs. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station made a startling discovery this week. A cryptic message appeared as the satellite passed over Texas.
I can make out the words. Hello, this is Carol. Hope you are well. And then the author of the message seems to have signed it, even though she already said her name above.
Thinking it was some kind of coded message intended to reach outer space, ISS astronaut Kayla Barron quickly worked to decipher it. But it turned out to be just a text message from 64-year-old Carol Rutherford, who had her iPhone screen turned up to the maximum allowable font size.
False alarm. It's just another boomer sending a text message.
Barron continued to receive messages from Carol, including a minion meme and 3 large crying laughing emojis. The crew confirmed they could also read Rutherford's large print KJV Bible from space. Now you're up to date on the only news that matters. Find more fake news you can trust at BabylonBee.com. Until next time, this is Austin Robertson, the voice of the Babylon Bee. So long.
Thank you, Austin. And now it is time for Weekly News with Adam Yenser.
It's time for the Weekly News with Adam Yenser.
As we mentioned, there's currently a nationwide shortage of baby formula, or as Planned Parenthood put it, there's a nationwide surplus of babies. In a new interview, Melania Trump said that the reason Jill Biden and Kamala Harris were featured on the cover of Vogue magazine and she was not is because of media bias. And the reason Melania was featured nude in Max magazine instead of Jill Biden and Kamala Harris is because of physical attractiveness.
Shoot, dude.
In a new interview, Melania Trump also called the nationwide shortage of baby formula heartbreaking, her longest English word to date. Netflix issued a warning to woke employees this week that if they are offended by certain content, they should quit. And it worked. Everyone whose pronoun is they quit. Skittles, Starburst, and Lifesavers are being recalled due to the presence of metal strands in the candy. So it looks like I won't have to put the metal in myself this Halloween. One person was hospitalized when a seafood truck exploded at a food truck festival in Florida, and dozens more were hospitalized after eating seafood from a truck. In order to reduce violence, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot announced a controversial 10 p.m. curfew for unattended minors, and judging by her face, she stayed up all night watching for them.
Oh, no.
McDonald's has announced that they will permanently close all of their locations in Russia, and Tsar McCheese will be put on trial for war crimes. Kamala Harris met with the new president of the UAE and offered condolences on the death of former President Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Nahyan. That's such a weird name, Kamala. She couldn't stop laughing during the condolences. Pizza restaurants are facing a nationwide shortage of delivery drivers. So if you ordered your baby a pizza because he's out of formula, I have some bad news. An anthropologist has claimed that a hobbit-like human species that is believed to have gone extinct 60,000 years ago may still be alive on an Indonesian island. We have an exclusive picture of the creature. Netflix announced that they will be releasing a new comedy special that Norm Macdonald made in case he died. And hopefully it's just an hour of lame Bob Saget jokes that he made in case he died. That's it for Weekly News. If you'd like to see these jokes and more, check out the canceled news on my YouTube channel.
Hey Babylon Bee listeners, Kyle here asking you to be a flag bearer for freedom. Right now, ADF is looking for flag bearers to help lead the fight against the Biden administration's policies and the anti-freedom attacks targeting our kids, churches, schools, women's sports, and First Amendment rights. Your monthly gift to Alliance Defending Freedom helps protect parents and children, female athletes, churches, and everyday Americans trying to freely live out their faith. Please support ADF today by going to adflegal.org/B. That's adflegal.org/BEE. And thanks for your continued support of ADF, you will receive a 3x5 foot American flag. With this flag, show your support for the greatest country of all time and your willingness to step up when our freedoms are under attack. Claim your gift and help defend religious liberty and free speech today by going to adflegal.org/B. That's adflegal.org/BEE.
We're back. Thank you, Adam. And now, Jared.
Good job, Adam.
Yeah. What do we have next, Jared?
So our next segment is Brandon Tatum. We had a good interview with him. He's an American conservative and political commentator. He's a former police officer, and he also played some football. He's an author of Beaten Black and Blue, being a black cop in an America Under Siege. He also runs a YouTube channel called The Officer Tatum, which has 1.84 million subscribers. That's a lot. And 326 million total views. He also just replaced Larry Elder on Salem Radio. So he has a new show, like a daily show. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, this is that interview. It was a great interview.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Babylon Bee interview show. Today we talk to Brandon Tatum, who is a black cop. Was a black cop?
He's always been black. He was a cop. He's still black. I don't know why you had to make it about his race, but that's what you chose to go with.
Well, he literally, his book is called...
He's a former cop, and he's a YouTuber with like millions of followers. Yeah. He's very popular, yeah. And he's the author of this book, Beaten Black and Blue.
Yeah,
you get it?
I got it.
Yeah.
It dawned on me about 30 seconds before we hit record here. But there's no one we like talking to more here at the Babylon Bee than police officers, because we get to ask them really important questions about race in America and police officer violence, and we also get to ask them how to get out of tickets.
Yeah.
So
And we covered all of that with
we
him.
covered all of it. So here we go.
And we got a really gross story also that you prompted from him.
Did we
Is
keep
that in there?
it in there? Did we keep it in there? That's up to you. What do you think?
Well, is this part of the intro still? Us debating?
Yeah.
If it's in there, you'll know why we had a debate about including it.
I think it stays. It stays. Hear the grossest cop story that you've ever heard in your life.
Yeah.
Just the grossest story in general.
Trigger warning.
Yeah, trigger warning.
As the libs say.
Here we go. Let's talk to Brandon Tatum.
And now for another interview on The Bee Weekly.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, Mr. Tatum. This is going to be a lot of fun. First things first, what is the best donut to have on duty?
Well, to be honest, I never ate donuts. I always ate cinnamon rolls. But I used to go to Dunkin' Donuts to get the cinnamon rolls. So I would literally have my patrol car in the line at Dunkin' Donuts, and people would just take pictures of me. But most of the time, I was getting cinnamon rolls.
I like that as an excuse also. You can always say, no, I'm not eating donuts. It's a cinnamon roll.
I'm not the stereotype.
That's a good way. Exactly.
Well, perfect. Well, you said that you never even knew a police officer or thought that you would be one until you ended up applying, and you did a ride along, and you knew that you wanted that type of career. So you want to talk a little bit about that and how you got interested in that?
Yeah, it was very interesting. Because I grew up in a environment where police weren't very popular. And I got arrested at 8 years old. My first interaction with police, I got arrested at 8 years old for smoking marijuana in a vacant house. They pulled guns on us and everything. It was quite interesting. And so that was my first perspective of police. And then, like I said, growing up and, nobody in my family liked the police. Family members would go to prison and everybody would blame the police as if they're the big bad guys. And so I really didn't have a great perception of law enforcement. When I got to college, I got saved, and then my mentality kind of changed. I became more open-minded, and I really just needed a job. I wasn't even trying to be a cop. I looked at the application, or at least the job posting online, and it said you make XYZ with full benefits. And at the time, my son was, I think he wasn't born yet, but he was about to be born. And as a man, I said, I need to have a stable job. I was battling, trying out for the NFL. And so I said, I need a stable job, went for it. They called me one day, and it was surprising to me when they called. And I did a ride along, and it blew me away. Officer Sean Payne, I never forget him. He showed me what a real hero was.
What kind of stuff did you experience on that ride along?
Oh, it was crazy. It was only a half a shift. I was working at Verizon Wireless premium retailer at that time, and making $8 an hour, and I hated it. But so I can only do a half a shift because I had to get back to work. And the first call we went to was a woman, an older woman, changing a flat tire on the side of the road. And I'll never forget thinking like, oh, this ain't that big of a deal. The cops ain't doing nothing special. Next call, the very next call was a suicidal person. He was actively cutting his wrist at an apartment complex. And so Sean and I got back in the car. We were going like 80 miles per hour down a residential street. I think we almost died about twice because people don't know how to move to the right. They stop it in the middle of the street. We swerving, going past the lights. It was out of control. Like I had never gone that fast in my life. My heart was about to bust out of my chest before we even got there. And when we got to the apartment complex, they didn't know where the apartment complex was, the actual unit was at. And so, I'm looking real stupid running behind them. I had a T-shirt on and some sweatpants because they didn't tell me what to wear. Technically, you're supposed to wear, business casual attire, but I'm dressed like a drug dealer running behind these cops. And we finally get to the unit or whatever. They forced entry. They let me stand off to the side, and once they went in, they let me come and look. And sure enough, man, the kid was back there covered in blood. He was cutting his wrist with a knife. And Sean Payne convinced him to put the knife down. They ended up saving his life. And I just couldn't believe it, man. My heart was still racing from the drive over after the call was done. And I remember Sean was cool as a cucumber, man. He just talking to me like nothing had ever happened. And I remember asking him, like, dude, like, is this what y'all do every day on the shift, or is this once in a while? He said, no, we do this. I do this every day.
Wow.
And I couldn't believe that a man was doing something like that every day and had the courage like he did. And it just inspired me, man. I was like, dude, I want to be a hero like Sean Payne, you know, and that's what kind of started my career.
And that was more exciting than the Verizon wireless job?
A little bit, just a little bit. No, I hated that job at Verizon. It wasn't a real Verizon. I don't know if y'all ever got trapped into that, where it's premium retailer. You go in there and they sell you all this other stuff, and it's not connected to the actual Verizon. And it was a mess, man. They never paid us out. We had a quota we had to get. We had to sell so many iPhones. It was ridiculous because we had a lot of elderly people in the community that we served. And so older people would come into the thing and, you know, they don't even know how to open an email, some of those. And they wanted us to sell people these iPhones. And I just refused to do it. And so we never made commission. So I got paid flat rate, $8 an hour. And it was horrible. I hated it.
Now, since you brought up quotas, do cops have a quota of speeding tickets they have to give out every month?
Well, that's an interesting question. I think yes and no. So highway patrol obviously is different than municipal police. So they only patrol the highway. Some of the guys that I know on the highway, they do have a quota. They have to pull over so many people to make sure that they're working. Because you know, if you work late nights, you just sleep the whole time and you never do anything. So from some of the guys I know do highway patrol, they have quotas. City cops normally don't have a quota. Most city cops are going call to call to call to call. There was a point in time when I was a cop in the city and they wanted us to make sure we were doing so many stops a day. It wasn't necessarily like a quota. They just wanted us to be active. So you didn't have to give a person a ticket. You can give them a warning. They just wanted us to be active in pulling people over and deterring speeding and other things like that. So technically it's a yes in some cases and a no in others.
And you don't have to sell, you don't have a quota of iPhones you have to sell as a police officer?
Thank God, man. I'd have got fired a long time ago. But,
well, you mentioned the possibility of going into the NFL. How far did you get with your football career?
Yeah, so coming out of high school, you know, I was an All-American football player. I was a top player in the nation. My brother was the year before me. We had 9 D1 players on our team in high school. And so we were a pretty prominent team coming out. You know, I played at the U.S. Army All-American game with guys like, I think Deshaun Jackson was on my team. I don't know how big football guys you are, but Deshaun Jackson was on my team.
I recognize that name.
Jonathan Stewart, he played running back for a long time.
I don't recognize
the Daily Show.
He was on my team. I mean, we had so many people that you recognize right now in the NFL and high school. So I had scholarships everywhere. Went to the University of Arizona. I had a terrible attitude. I mean, I came from the hood, so my coaches couldn't tell me nothing. I would blow up on them. You know, people were afraid of me pretty much for the wrong reasons. And so that led my trajectory of football down the wrong path. I mean, I ran a 4.3 in the 40. I was a freak athlete. But my attitude wasn't there. So later in my career, even though I didn't play much in college, I still was in the NFL draft in 2010. I had an agent, and he told me that the Oakland Raiders were going to draft me, even though I didn't play because I was such a good athlete. In 2010, they passed on me on draft day. I had a draft party. My family was there, everything.
Oh, man.
And it was devastating. They passed on me, and I ended up following up the next year. I got an offer from the Omaha Nighthawks, which was a semi-pro football team, and I turned that down to be a police officer.
Wow. Now, I think you mentioned briefly that you were saved in college. When did you what was your introduction to Christianity like?
Yeah, so I, born and raised in Texas, and you play football and you go to church. So I had a little bit of God in me growing up. You know, I like to say that we were in the church, but the church went in us, meaning that we would go to church, and after church, it would be, you do whatever you want to do, listen to rap music, cuss, act the fool, do whatever you want. So I kind of grew up with a little bit of God. And when I got to college and the whole football experience happened, when you have troubles in life, you tend to run to God. So when things weren't going well in the football field, I tried to make a decision, or at least in my mind, I said, I'm gonna make a decision. Am I gonna find out, is God real and all of that, or am I gonna have to go a different path? So I said, let me just start going to church and see where it go. I'm a grown man now. I'm not forced to go to church. I'm gonna go and have an experience. And if I think it's legit, then I'll keep going to you know, because I really wanted to get my life on the right path. And in 2008, went to a church, little bitty church in south of Tucson called Emmanuel Grace Apostolic Church. I mean, it was a very strict holiness church. And I got saved. I got baptized, filled with the Holy Spirit, speaking in tongues and all that other stuff that people think is wonky. But it changed my life, man. It really changed me. I went from cursing every day and having such a tremendously poor attitude to when I got saved, it just all went out the window. I quit cursing. I threw away all my rap music. It was a complete change in my life. And that helped me, you know, progress to where I'm at today.
If you feel the urge to curse now, do you speak in tongues instead?
Yes.
It's like an alternate.
I do it under my breath. So
yeah.
You never know. Hey, don't get me wrong. Sometimes people would never see me cuss publicly.
Yeah.
One time I blew up on somebody online one time.
Every now and then you have to, though.
So every now and again they slip, but for the most part, I try not to curse.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound right coming out of my mouth, and I think it takes away from my message if I use too many curse words.
Mm-hmm.
It's personal.
That does tend to hurt your gospel presentation when you drop an F-bomb.
Yeah.
You can be a hypocrite Christian if you're cussing every 5 minutes talking about Jesus. So I try to stay away from that.
Now, I don't want to make any assumptions, but you do appear to be a black man. We're going to assume that you voted for Joe Biden?
I didn't know I was black, man. Thanks for letting me know. I feel like a white guy at this point. You know, I voted for Trump. I drive a big red truck with an American flag on it. You know, I got the white guy Trump supporter starter kit. But no, I used to be a Democrat. You know, I was raised a Democrat. When you grew up in a black neighborhood, and you grew up in a black community, it like people aren't really into politics like that, and nobody's talking about voting. But if you do, you are a Democrat. And so I grew up believing that I was a Democrat the whole time, not really understanding politics much. I voted for Barack Obama his second term. Mm-hmm. And then from that on, I've been voting Republican. But it's funny because people do expect that because I'm black, that I'm a Democrat. It's crazy to me. Like when I go places and I don't have any conservative merch on, in Ubers and everything, people love to talk to me about politics and they go, "Oh, what do you think about that Trump? He's such a racist." And I'm just like, I don't think they know what I do for them. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably the biggest Trump apologist there is, you know, and it's kind of funny though, because people won't imagine it because, you know, most black people probably, or at least the appearance that most black people don't like Donald Trump.
Was that just a sneaky way to plug your merch on our show here?
Oh, no, man. I do enough plugging on my stuff, man. Every show, this video is brought to you by the Officer Tatum store. Nah, it's... But, I think the message is good though.
Yeah. We had Larry Elder on recently, and he was called the black face of white supremacy by the LA Times. Have you been called like a white supremacist or racist?
Yeah. When I went to Trump's first rally, it was the first rally I went to in Tucson. People were calling me a white supremacist. I mean, like while I'm walking to the line to go into the place, people were yelling at me, "You're a white supremacist," and I'm just like, "What? Y'all got to be the dumbest people on planet." And at this time, I wasn't a Trump supporter. I was just going to see if the dude was a racist or was he legitimate because Ben Carson had endorsed him and dropped out of the race. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, Ben Carson, he's just one of the smartest men in the world. Why would he endorse this guy? Let me check him out. And these nuts were yelling all kind of stuff and being, you know, ridiculous. So people call me all kind of stuff. I mean, just like Larry Elder, they call me Uncle Tom, bootlicking Uncle Tom. I hate my people. You know, they say all kind of stuff. You know, there's so many different things that they say. Some of them I won't repeat, but they you know, when you disagree with people and they don't have a good argument, they call you all kind of stuff.
That's interesting, though. I love that you went to the Trump rally to kind of get a sense personally of what he was like and hear him speak. Because I feel like there's a lot of people, especially in LA and Hollywood, which is very left-leaning, they have this idea of what Republicans are and what Trump is and what his supporters are. And I often tell them, just go to an event, go hear them speak, go hang out with these people. They're not this caricature that you're told by the media.
Yeah, and that's kind of what got me to where I'm at now, because I was just a cop, man, and I was looking at them taxes come out my check, and I said, man, I need to get more politically involved. Yeah. You know, God, what am I doing here? And you know, Barack Obama just turned me off, man. You know, I thought that he was very charismatic. I thought he was going to change the country, change the world. He was the first black president. I had all these high hopes for Barack Obama. And, you know, he sound good. He playing basketball. You know, the dude he could present himself very well.
And he is a great speaker. He gives good speeches.
Compelling speaker, very charismatic. I mean, the guy could have been great, in my opinion. But then he's a secret Marxist and all that. But he started bashing cops. And that's what threw me off. I was like, wait a minute. The Cambridge police, he said they acted stupidly because they arrested a professor who was breaking into his own house. But how do they know?
But then he had a beer with him, and didn't that make everything okay?
Right. Yeah. I guess it smoothed it out. First of all, I found out these people are super whack. Like I used to think that because you're a politician, you had to be smart. You had to be an open-minded person. You had to have all these experiences. It's all stupid. Most of these people are whack. You know, they're not even they're like shells of people. They don't have any real personality. They're just fake. You know what I'm saying? So. But Barack Obama came out and was bashing cops. And I said, man, I would never support a politician that bashed the men and women that wear the uniform, given all that I've been through wearing a uniform and all my friends that were police officers and how hard we work and all the experiences that we have, seeing things that nobody will ever see. You know, nobody calls you when they're having a good day. You know, they go to a wedding or a proposal and somebody is like, hey, Officer Tatum, come over to the proposal and watch one of the best day of our life. No, you show up when they drunk and they beat their girlfriend up and you got to take them to jail. So all that we go through, seeing dead people, and I don't know how crazy I can get on the show, but all the stuff that we've seen, it's like, how dare you say that about police officers that serve and protect with our lives every single day? And I had kids. I had a kid. And I didn't know if I was going to die every time I went to work. You know, it was a possibility every day. And I was close to it many times. And for a politician that ain't never done nothing in his life, never, served or anything, to talk bad about cops, I said I'd never support them. And then I gave the Republican side a try. And I went to that rally for Trump. And I was blown away, dude. Trump was legit. I was like, I believe that. I agree with that. I agree with that. Everybody there was nice. It was black people, white people, veterans, everybody loved the country. I was like, this is where I belong. It was Christian folk. Trump was charismatic. He was just saying whatever he felt like most people feel. He was just saying it. He wasn't reading a script and being a robot, man. He was just keeping it real. And I was like, I think I could rock with this guy. I made a video randomly. I never made videos. I wasn't that person. So I made a video on Facebook randomly. I did the night shift. I stayed up, went to the rally, and I was going to make this video and go to sleep. And it blew up while I was asleep. And I woke up and I was like, I thought I was going to get fired. There was millions of people saw the video. Fox and Friends. I didn't even know what Fox and Friends was. I never watched Fox. So all these people were calling me, and, then it led to all the stuff that I do now.
During your time as a police officer, did you see a shift from the way that, when I was growing up, it was like all the kids wanted to be cops when they were, when they grew up, and now it's like, they kind of were praised as heroes. And now it feels like the culture has turned against law enforcement in a lot of ways. Did you see that shift?
Yeah, I saw the shift with Barack Obama. It was crazy, man. People used to attack us. Y'all just out here killing black people for no reason. Like, wait a minute, brother. We ain't killed a single black man in the state of Arizona in the last 10 years. What are you talking about? That has nothing to do with us, what happened somewhere else, but just that energy was there. And then when I left, it got way worse. Now it's way worse than it ever was. I could ever imagine it to be now versus when I was a cop. Like, when I was a cop, if somebody pulled a gun on you or if you got into a confrontation with a black man, it didn't matter. Like, did he pull a gun on you? Are you justified in using deadly force? There would be, the riots wouldn't be like what they are today. And now a black man can pull a gun and shoot a cop in the head. And if the cop who's giving his last breath shoot the man back, they're going to drag him through the mud and call him a white supremacist and say that he out there just killing black people for no reason. It's out of control now. And I don't know if I could last being a cop today. I don't know if I could last, man.
I don't think I could either.
Man, you do anything. You arrest a person that's gay or a trans person. And before you know it, if you have to, use force against them, now you find yourself in a predicament where your chief then punked out and they want to investigate you. And to the world, they try to act like they don't know if you're well trained. They don't know if you did the right thing when they the ones, read the manual, make the manual, train you to do exactly what you did. And then they turn on you to the media. It's sickening to me what's going on in law enforcement.
So how fast over the speed limit can I drive without getting pulled over? Every day, we witness yet another woke corporation weaponizing their progressive values against Americans. Imagine a world where you could completely unsubscribe from woke corporatism. Imagine a world in which every single dollar you spend could go towards companies that share your values of life, liberty, and patriotism. Now with the Public Square app, you can. Public SQ, Public Square, is an app and website that connects freedom-loving Americans to the community and companies that share their values. They've just recently launched and are already the largest network of patriotic businesses and consumers in the nation. To get started and shop your values, visit publicsq.com today. That's publicsq.com.
Thank you to Brandon Tatum for being here. That was great, and I'm glad it was the whole interview with nothing else cut out of it and nothing else to see. That's the whole thing. Now we're going to talk to Will Witt, our guest for the day.
What's up?
Good, man. I'm glad you're here. We're glad you can make it out from PragerU.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. First of all, can you help us with some tips to have better hair? You have great hair.
Thank you. No, I can't.
You can't?
No.
Is it just natural?
It's not natural,
Uh-huh.
but it is something you're just born with. And
Oh, really?
I don't know if you're born with it.
Yeah.
So it's not
bad,
like
just
not like Bosley or anything like that. You didn't get hair plugs or
Nothing
anything?
like that. Yeah,
Okay.
probably in the future I'll have to, because this is the only way I can do my job is by having hair like this to look like this. So
Yeah.
but
Totally.
for now it's all good.
That's good. How did you start working with PragerU?
So I found out about PragerU when I was in college and was becoming a conservative, and essentially loved their videos and decided to go make a video on my campus myself, where I went and asked women what they thought about the wage gap. And I taught myself how to shoot the video, edit the video. I ended up sending it to PragerU. This is a short story, long story short.
Yeah.
Sent them the video, and they ended up loving it, posted it, and they offered me a job. And said, hey, Will, why don't you come out to Los Angeles and work for us? So after 2 years of college in Colorado, dropped out, moved to LA about 5 years ago to start working for PragerU.
That is crazy. What was the first? What was it about the gender wage gap?
Yeah.
That was the one.
It's a terrible video. Looking back now, I mean, it's really bad.
Oh, really?
You can still find it, I think, on
Really
Facebook.
bad quality-wise, or you regret some of the things you said in it?
No, I love what I
Just
said.
quality-wise. Just quality-wise.
No regrets,
Okay.
but the quality was really terrible. And I was also a little bit more abrasive and rude in the video than I think I am now.
Oh, I see.
I'm very nice to people in my videos now. But
You are.
Yeah.
I'm always impressed actually when I watch your videos.
Thank you.
You do a good job of just letting people sort of dig themselves into holes.
Yeah, they do it themselves. I don't need to add fuel to the fire if they
No.
already don't have the tools to.
I know you are polite to these people, but some of them you encounter some interesting people. We watched a lot of your videos and some of the highlights. Like, do you weep for the future when you talk to these people?
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's not even just the political nature of many of these people. You go onto a college campus and. Again, not even dealing with the leftist politics. That can come later.
Yeah.
But you talk to them, and they can't look you in the eye. Every other word is or like or and they look down when they talk to you. They can't even hold a conversation with you.
This sounds like our podcast.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. I'm suffering just as much doing this as when I go to a UCLA.
So
This is so hard.
You weep for the future when you're on campus and when you're here at this
I do.
podcast.
There's not much time where I don't weep for the future. It's pretty much just constant sorrow.
Is that why you just left and went to the bathroom for a while?
Yeah,
Is that why you
yeah.
were weeping for the
You're
future.
weeping.
Yeah, exactly.
funny.
That's what we call it, weeping.
So you do the man on the street stuff, and you often talk to liberals and stuff. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you doing a man on the street interview?
I would say probably the craziest is when I dressed up as a Native American for Thanksgiving.
I saw that one.
And yeah, so it was me as a Native American, then my friend Black Mike, he was a Black Pilgrim. And we went out to go and give pumpkin pie to people for Thanksgiving and ask them what they were thankful for. It was like a fun video. And then this lady, she's a teacher at the school. This is at California State University, Northridge, up in the valley. And she brought her class out to come and say, like, this is an example of racism. So it was like I don't know if they got extra credit for coming and
You were like
berating me.
Exhibit A for like
Exactly.
observe class.
Yeah, it was like a
Racism
David Attenborough,
racism
like
in action in the wild.
Planet Earth type of thing.
In the wild.
Yeah. Look at the racist here.
In his natural environment.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. And then all these kids start yelling at me and berating me. They're saying death threats. Eventually, they try and kick me off campus, which they successfully do for once. And they rip off my clothes. Yeah, it's crazy.
I hate it when they rip off my clothes.
I know. When you usually, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Depends on who. On who it is.
Like What's the deal with all these college kids?
Yeah, college kids. Am I right?
Yeah. What's the deal with them?
What's the deal
with college kids? Are you seriously asking?
I don't know. You know.
College kids.
What do you think is the deal with them? Is there any hope for them? Do you meet some people on the college
there's hope for them. I mean,
that are kind of waking up to the ways they're kind of being. Do you think it's more that they're being misled by their indoctrination in school, or is it that they're just getting a bad education?
I think both.
Really?
I think both. I think many of the professors are in it for themselves and aren't in it to teach students. They don't care about actually teaching the students. They care about creating an army of people who will agree with them. And then the students just eat that up because they don't really have any other type of meaning in their life because religion is declining in the West. And so they basically take the things that their professors say as their new meaning, as their new religion. People are naturally religious, naturally tribal. And so the things that these professors and these disgusting history books that they teach in schools are telling them just gives them some sort of meaning. So I think that there is hope. I mean, someone like me, I was not interested in politics whatsoever and then got very interested in it. Lots of people who are on the left who have these amazing stories of becoming conservatives.
Yeah.
You know, it can definitely happen, but once you become a conservative, you then basically have a responsibility to speak up. You have to be that person to come out and keep talking and speak up because you saw the lies that were happening before. You have to be better than what you were before.
Yeah, it's your testimony.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got to let people know.
Right.
That's interesting. So with COVID, did it put a damper on the man on the street stuff, or were you guys able to continue?
Definitely. Yeah, COVID definitely put a damper on the man on the street stuff, and it also changed a lot of my perspectives when it came to politics. From before COVID, I was kind of more, I guess you could say, baseline conservative on a lot of things, pretty agreeable to, even someone like Dan Crenshaw that we talked about before. Whereas now it's like, it's a lot different now. The COVID and the war in Ukraine and lots of things that have happened and made you just realize that the world is a lot different than the right and left paradigm that people talk to you about. So I wasn't doing as many man on the street videos. I was working on my podcast and doing a lot more talking about the issues and the truth and things. And so built that a lot up during COVID. So, but getting back more into some of the man on the streets now that things are more open and being able to just see the disillusion that many people have with the world talking to them.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your conversations with these people when you do the man on the street stuff is productive? Do you see people in the moment kind of seeing the error of their ways and coming around to the other side, or is there just a wall there that you can't get through?
No, very productive.
Yeah.
I'm very happy to say that. And I don't want to be vain, but I will be a little bit. I think that my videos are the best when it comes to man on the street. I don't think anyone does them as well as me because my principle of doing it is always to change people's minds. It's not to say, haha, look at this stupid liberal in this video. It's how can I change people's minds? And of course, we'll get some stupid people or some wild people in the videos to make us say, okay, they're pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But when I'm going out there, like I just did a video 2 weeks ago going to a California campus asking people about immigration, and illegal immigration. And we were basically able to change every person's mind going and talking to them, or at least make the light bulb go on and say, maybe I need to go home and do some more research on it. That's the point of my videos. That's what I want to do with the videos I make. And yeah, I think it's been very successful. I mean, that's what I wrote my book about.
That's good. So what do you think needs to be done to have a conservative renewal in our country and kind of come back to tradition and faith and founding principles? What do you think we need to do?
Man, that's a big question. I mean, first, I'm actually for a national divorce in this country. I think that there are areas of this country that are unsalvageable, unsavable. There are people who are fine with giving hormone blockers to children. There are people who are fine with butchering children in the womb.
Right.
All sorts of people who have evil ideas. And to me, there's no coming back to someone like that. I have no desire to be in a fine common ground. Because how do you find common ground with someone who says it's fine to abort someone after they've been born? They say, oh, okay, we'll find common ground, 6 months is okay. It's like you don't find common ground with these types of people. And so, I don't know, it's kind of a hard line position, but I think that we will be much happier if we can find places where there's people who at least have a base understanding of what this country was founded on, history, and build a good community. I think that's what we need.
So how would you divide up the country? Would you put California over here?
Yeah,
Branson, Missouri on this side.
Yeah, I take all of the liberals out of California. I'd go
plan?
to the Hollywood Hills and just live there. And that'd be about it. That's about it.
That's one of the things that's hard about California. It's such a beautiful state and it's such a fun state, but it's just run terribly.
I know.
And at the state level and at the city level, it's just horrible. Yeah,
they've really screwed it. I love California. I love being here. The weather and everything. There's nowhere better in the world than California.
Yeah.
But they've just absolutely destroyed it. It'd be hard to figure out how to divide it. I don't know necessarily how to divide it. But I think that it's time to start actually having these types of conversations.
So in the national divorce, you would fight a bitter custody war for California.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Who would get most 50% custody?
Yeah. The left can
we get
have
California every other weekend.
Yeah,
Northern and Southern California.
Yeah. But I want to see Will this weekend. Yeah, they can have Fresno.
It's just hard on Californians when they're split like that. So
I know.
Let's see. So hey, thank you so much. This is a great interview.
Thank you.
You are so insightful. It's really cool. We are going to move on to hate mail.
I really miss Adam Ford.
Yep. This is one of our favorite sections.
Let's do it.
So this, will Roe v. Wade be overturned, is the subject. We got this hate mail from Marjorie Miller to the Babylon Bee. She said, "Go F yourself," literally, which is first very difficult.
I'm excited to watch Jarrett try to get through this email right now.
I know. This is going to be good. Okay. I'm kind of a prude.
Oh, there's so many good words. There's so many good words coming up.
Women are owned by men to, okay, S and F, and I don't know what puck is, but it's a lot of awkward. Well, puck as in
hockey puck.
A hockey puck, or like okay, there we go. Yeah, so
I don't know if that's what it actually.
I don't know either. I was thinking like Midsummer Night's Dream, the character Puck.
Yeah.
Anyway, and by the way, you're setting yourself up to be needle effed by Fauci. If we don't all have the bodily autonomy, freedom is gone. If we don't all have bodily autonomy, freedom is gone. Wake up. Democrats and Republicans arguing about which parts of the body the government controls. The correct answer, according to the Constitution, is none. The word Constitution literally means body. If Republicans only have bodily autonomy for men... Okay, I'm not even going to read that part. Once again...
Come on, say it. I want you to try to get through this part.
I don't know how I would do it. I don't even know where to go. You can screw a light bulb. Okay, once again, Republicans choose to alienate ex-Democrats with their hypocrisy rather than win a red wave. Idiots! It'll be the end of us all. Stupid Republicans, with the elections in their hands, fell in the same old trap. Too easy, morons. Health, freedom for all. We need new political party. We need a new political... Game is rigged against citizens and the Constitution. Citizens without a party. Cake is on one side and actually we mercifully stopped right there.
Who's on the other side of cake?
More.
Cake is on one side.
Pie
is on the other.
On
yeah,
the
that's
side.
right. I think that's it.
Got it.
Nice.
Boy.
I enjoyed listening to Jarrett read that hate mail.
I did too. Could have been a little more vitriolic.
Yeah,
okay.
Please write us again, Marjorie Miller.
Yeah, that's good. I'll try to put some more emotion into it next time.
That's it for the regular Bee Weekly podcast. Thanks for listening. And be sure to subscribe so you can check out in the subscriber lounge section. We've got some more bonus hate mail. And we'll be asking Will Witt our 10 questions. See you next week.
Coming up next, for Babylon Bee subscribers.
So have you ever punched anyone been punched? You ever been punched or punched anyone?
Yes. We just went to this rally in Glendale. It was like a pro school, or pro teaching LGBT education in school. It was very strange. It was in Glendale.
A groomers conference.
Basically, a groomers conference, essentially.
Okay.
This has been another edition of the Bee Weekly from the dedicated team of certified fake news journalists you can trust here at the Babylon Bee. Reminding you that someone out there knows something about Carmen, and we're going to find them.